Greetings, YouTube. I recently found myself thinking about the film Aliens, the sequel to Alien. And Aliens is one of my favorite films, and I think one of the best sequels ever done. Episode 5 in Star Wars is also right up there. Um, and the idea of instead of there being one alien menacing an isolated group of people, we have many aliens becoming a threat to a military unit. And that's a cool concept because now it's war on a small scale. And it was incredibly well done. Now, the broad premise is that the Colonial Marines are going to investigate why communications have been cut off from a colony. They are terraforming a planet for future use. They're terraforming this specific planet because that's where the alien came from, and the Tyrell Corporation, not the Wayland Corporation, Tyrell's Blade Runner, the Wayland Corporation, Weyland-Yutani, knows that there's something there, and they want to find it, so they're using this as kind of a cover. Put a colony there, find the thing, profit on both ends. And I've never quite figured out how their drives work in this universe, because the drives are fast enough. They got there so that there was still food out in the open that wasn't particularly rotted. And yet it required them to be put into sleep capsules. So I think it's the power of the narrative drive. It's as fast as you need it to be and as slow as you need it to be simultaneously. But the name of this military organization is the Colonial Marines. And Marine is important here because traditionally Marines are troops on ships. Now, originally, ocean-going ships. In this case, space-going ships, but still ships. And the original Marines were there to defend the ship from boarders back in the days when that was the thing, and to be the landing force that would take on targets off the ship. Well, the crew of the ship would stay there to defend the ship and act as support, as a pullback position, and, gun emplacements, what have you, yada, yada, yada. You get it. Why isn't there a crew on board the ship that delivers the Colonial Marines to the alien world? There should be. And if there had been, that utterly changes the narrative of the film. Because now you have people to give you additional support to the people on the ground. Maybe there was a reserve of Marines on board. They have weapons on board they can drop down. They can remotely fly the next dropship, or send a pilot to fly the next dropship down to the planet, rescue everyone, and bring them home. It completely changes the structure of the film, which is why it wasn't used. So there's this asteroid-size hole in the alien plot. Why isn't there a crew on board that ship? Why is no one left on the ship? Who leaves a ship empty and takes everyone to a planet? Who does that? I know, you want to have a sense of isolation. It ramps up the tension. I get that. And I realize that they're not expecting ship-to-ship combat. So they're not worried about the ship being in danger, and I understand that as well. They think it's a planet rescue. Maybe a bug hunt. They're not looking for a stand-up fight, as I believe Hicks called it. But why would you leave the ship empty? Why is there no crew on board this ship that delivers the Marines to their location and then brings the Marines home? because the director didn't want it. The writer didn't want it. And the action is so compelling and the characters are so interesting and we get drawn into the film so deeply and immersed so well, we don't notice it. Because I'll be honest, I saw that movie in the theaters. I have listened to 1,000 people talk about it. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone bring up the fact that there was no crew on that ship. Now, I realize that there is a video game that deals with the fact that there was a crew on board one of the ships. That they were hidden from the rest because they were researchers and they're just sitting back and observing while people get murdered and destroyed by aliens so that they can do more research. I thought that was pretty much bullshit. And I still do. I've seen footage from 2 different aliens-inspired video games, and I thought both of them were crap. I would love to see a good one someday. It would be really cool. I have not yet seen it. The second one was about Ripley's daughter. So, did anyone else ever notice that? Did you ever wonder why there wasn't a crew on that ship and why there was no one left, even a Marine left on board to watch the ship and offer support and act as a radio man to the colony back home, which maybe they didn't have faster than light communication? How did they find out about the colony's need for rescue? So they have to have FTL communication, even though they have either not FTL drives or just really fast or really slow FTL drives. Oh yes, that's right. I mentioned it was the narrative ship drive. Maybe they have the narrative communication system as well. It works as well as the narrator needs it to, and not one whit more. Yes. I'm big on internal consistency. And now that I know that this doesn't, it affects my ability to sit back and just go, ooh, let's watch the movie. It bugs me. Because now I see the hole. Now I see the flaw. So tell me, have you ever seen it? Do you have an answer for me? Is there something out there that makes more sense than that the alien creatures survive off of heat directly, which would make them the most advanced form of life in the universe? That they can survive directly off energy? That makes them some kind of like Marvel super being, like the Watcher, or one of their folks, or like Ego. So let's talk about narrative holes in aliens. What the heck? That's a conversation that we can have forever!